and you're watching Allied TV.
Hey guys, this is Chris Peak here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we are at the studios of Ally TV, and I am joined by Cory Shears, who is the first alternative for Mr. Gay Indiana 2019. Cory, talk to us a little bit about what it means to be Cory Shears.
Well, since I'm new to this, what it means is I guess I would be more of a student and I'm learning, but I would say that Cory Shears is an artist. I've done hair for about 12 years and I've decided to come back into the whole singing and entertainment line of art, if you will. I've been singing and performing and dancing and everything since I was in first grade. So I decided not to waste that talent and do a little side thing with that. So here I am, and now I'm first runner-up for Mr. Gay Indiana. So
How did you get involved with Mr. Gay Indiana?
well, for about 10 years, I've been pondering the idea of possibly running. Dylan, aka Courtney Anderson, first kind of said, you need to do this. This was 10 years ago, but it's just taken me a long time to get involved because I wanted to feel like I was mature enough, and I've been building my career as a designer at Solana One in Carmel. So
I think for the community here and the LGBTQ community here in Indianapolis, they all know your face. But then to see you as a performer, where do you get your inspiration for the performances that you put on at MGI here at Greg's Art Place here in Indianapolis, Indiana?
well, I wanted to make it more about who I was. I want to make it a very personal thing for me. So for instance, I don't want to be too long-winded, but the solo talent Creep, I love Edward Scissorhands. I think he was probably one of the most pivotal characters in modern pop culture to show how someone could be so beautiful inside and may not look as beautiful on the outside, but in turn, together they would look beautiful. So I chose him singing Creep because Creep was one of my favorite songs growing up because I was bullied and pushed around through high school because I was different, not only for being gay, but I was overweight, and I just wanted to show both of those characters as my past to my present. So at the very end of the song, I changed the words a little bit, and I said, I belong here, because I did belong there, and I do belong here. For Suddenly Seymour, it's all based on my Broadway past. I love singing. I study Broadway and musical theater, and I love Suddenly Seymour. I love the story of people helping other people, and that's what the main characters do for each other. So I decided to throw my salon into the mix, and I wanted it to be a representation of who Cory Shears was, who Brandyn Kiser is, and I wanted to blend all that together, and everything from the costumes to the scripting that I worked so hard on doing, everything was blended together the way I wanted to that day.
So before we actually sat down and started recording this interview, Cory and I were actually talking a little bit about what it's like to be, or what the difference between Mr., Mrs., and the possibility of even MX, MGI is. Not just here in the MGI system, but across the nation. What does it mean, or what is the separation between Mr., Mrs., and MX?
Well, that MX thing is amazing. I think that would be fantastic. I think the biggest difference, if there is any difference, is that the Miss has been around a little bit longer than the Mr. with the MGI, but I would hope that there wouldn't be any difference eventually. I would love to see even the final night being all of us. together. I would love to have been on the stage at the Athenaeum. I think it would have been really awesome, but maybe in the future something like that can possibly happen. But I think it's going in the right direction right now, and I really enjoyed the Miss Pageant. I thought it was really cool. But again, I think it'd be really cool to have everybody together on that final night doing that. So I'm kind of jealous.
You talked a little bit about being bullied as a young youth LGBTQ member in the community. It is September, so it's Suicide Awareness Month. What would you tell a member of our community who is a youth member in our community who might be struggling with their identity? How do you approach that situation?
Well, I think I would let them approach me first, because it takes time for someone to open up about their feelings and their emotions. But I think I would look at them and tell them that it's going to be okay, and then I would laugh with them, because I would know that wouldn't be the right thing to say. But I would then say, it'll be okay, because I'm a story. I've been there before. I know how it is. I can help them. I can teach them how to work around their issues and their fears and their problems, because when it comes down to it, it's the fear, of not loving oneself is what gets people involved in these ideas of suicide. And I'm going to tell them that I'm a survivor and that I made it through, and I know that if they let me help them, that I can be there for them too, as best as I can.
For Mr. Gay Indiana, the winner, a lot of what we're looking for is what their platform is for the year ahead. One of your platforms was obviously to bring to light the suicide prevention and the suicide rates within our community. If for some reason the winner was unable to fulfill their duties, what sort of benefit shows would you be looking at doing for MGI?
Well, I've already thought about that, because I thought, oh, maybe I'll win. But I love Prince, by the way. So, sorry, side note. The thing that I'd already been planning this. I already did stuff. I've already went to bar owners and I said, hey, if I win, can we do a charity event for the Trevor Project? It's a non-profit charity that helps prevent suicide in the youth. So that was one way. Back in the Oscars, I helped a little bit and came with teenies, and we did a little fundraising thing for Born This Way Foundation, which is Lady Gaga's foundation for mental illness in the LGBTQ community and in the youth. So that was semi-successful, but I know it could be more if I had a title. So I'm already working on that, and even if I didn't have the title, I'm still going to continue on working on trying to help with that prevention, because anything that we can do to help the community with that, especially in our youth, I think is the most important thing right now, other than titles. So,
we think of politics for a second, which we're not going to get into it, but when I'm thinking of MGI and I'm thinking of Mr. Gay Indiana and I'm thinking of First Alternate, I almost think of them as the vice president for Mr. Gay Indiana. And I think that it's important for even our First Alternate to have a voice in our community. What does it feel like to be in the LGBTQ community, not just in Indianapolis, but in Indiana alone? Don't think nationwide. Think Indiana.
Well, I don't feel as though, for myself personally, I don't feel as though I'm a minority anymore, because I have such a centralized family of friends and supporters and coworkers and people who barely know me who've come up and thanked me for something maybe I've done that I didn't even realize I did. So for me, I don't feel like I'm an individual swimming around everybody that's the same. I feel like I have a family here. So that would probably be my feeling on that. So
one thing that we talk about with a lot of entertainers is the support system that they have, and it's very important for you to have a support system. who was your support system throughout this time frame of you actually, putting in the work to become the first alternate for Mr. Gay Indiana 2019?
Well, there were a lot. Briefly, I have to say this. My promoters, Sage Summers and Lorenzo, if I don't say that, Sage will be somewhere. Come and get me. No, she was amazing, and she was on my back like every day about like, what do you need? Do you need any more? What do you need? We met like 2 or 3 times in the month. She helped me with everything. So she's an angel, both of them. The other thing is my boyfriend. My boyfriend really helped. It was, definitely hard because, when your relationship, there's always struggles when you're trying to, each worked for different goals, but final night, he was right there, sitting there, so supportive, so happy. When he said he was so proud of me, I think that was one of my awards that night. And then, of course, he was sitting with my mom and my aunt, and my mom hasn't seen me perform for 20 years. So this was something so magical, and she's disabled, so it was amazing that she drove all the way up here in the dark to get to see me. And I have to note that the woman was so impressed with all the performances. She's never seen anything like that. She's from a small town. So many people. She loves Sage. Definitely little D. She was so moved. She was crying in tears, and she said amen, and she stood up applauding. It was amazing. But one of the most amazing things that actually made me feel like I won was when she was so happy that she could get to the bathroom or the restroom, and that just how much we have in community. I just want to talk about that. I could talk about it forever. It was amazing.
As we talk about community and as we talk about the brotherhood that Mr. Gay Indiana actually provides, what was it like to be on the stage, hearing all of the words coming in for Prince Shock, and then realizing Prince Shock has won this thing? What did that feel like for you?
It felt amazing. I actually was so happy that he had won. Of course, there was a part of me that, oh my gosh, I worked so hard. But you know what? We all worked hard, all of us in that competition. We all supported each other. We all smiled at each other. We all hugged each other. Archie, oh my gosh, he was amazing. He gave me 10 Madonna CDs because he thought I loved, or he knew that I loved Madonna, so he just gave them to me. So much support, and Prince is someone that I have followed for years. I have seen him perform. I have seen amazing artistry, FX things that I want to learn how to do. So please teach me. So, and even now he's being supportive because I'm running for Kings of Kings in November 9th, I believe it is, in Terre Haute at Zimars. And so I am so excited, and he's a former, and I've been trying to get some input from him, and he's been so amazing. So yeah, that's awesome.
So you heard it right here, guys. November 9th, Zen Mars, Cory Shears is going to be running for Kings of Kings in Terre Haute, Indiana. So make sure that you get out there. Again, Chris Peak, Ally TV, out in the community.